Okay, so I've got my power inlet area all pulled apart, and I am going to install this, was it an 8 breaker sub panel between my 30 amps coming in and my first receptacle. So, never done this before. Doesn't look too crazy hard. Let's just give it a try. So what I bought is some 10 gauge wire. It's 8 gauge wire coming from the generator plugging in, and 10 gauge wire that came with this, like for the ground. I believe it's 10 gauge. Get out of here, B. Come on. Get out of here. Yeah, 10 gauge wire coming out of there. So I'm going to use this 10 gauge wire to run from the generator power inlet, I'm going to call it, to the breaker box. I only bought white because stuff's expensive, man, and I only need 3 feet of it. So I bought a 50-foot roll of white, and then I've got some colored electrical tape that I'll just wrap around the wires to distinguish white from black from green. So, okay, so it's taken me 2 hours to get this far, and something's wrong. I didn't wire something correctly. When I fire up the generator and I put my little voltmeter on the I don't even know the technical term now. I'm losing my mind. The neutral wire, the white lug and the black lug inside the box, it reads. But when I flip the circuit breaker on, I get no power to that first outlet right there. So I'm thinking I wired my circuit breaker wrong, which it seems impossible to do. There's only 2 screws in it. One's brass, black goes to brass. So I don't know. It's a AFCI breaker, anti-arc ground fault breaker. And the instructions are like in Portuguese or something, so I don't know, man. Okay, well, you hear the soft hum of the generator in the background, and that means I finally figured it out. Got it done. With the switch, we got electricity. Boom. Half the problem solved. So I'll show you what I did, and I don't even want to tell you how many days and mistakes it cost me. It's hard when you don't know what you're doing sometimes. Hard to get through life when you don't know what you're doing. But luckily I had my neighbor Scott, who helped me out with the majority of this wiring. My neighbor Jeff, who helped me out with a couple big problems. And my neighbor Steve, who helped me out with the fuse box. So let me show you. Okay, so it's a little dark in here, but because we're coming on nightfall. But this is what I've got going on. I picked this panel up. It's a Square D Homeline panel with plug-on neutral fuses, circuit breakers. And I've got 2 lines run. I've got one that runs off to the left and feeds that power switch and goes around and feeds the rest of the lights. And then I've got another one that runs off to the right, comes around, comes up this pole, and will be where I plug in my TV, if I get a TV out here ever. But as you can see, everything's working great. The lights are in over the dartboard. On the other side, the light's in over where the table's gonna be. The only thing I'm not crazy about is these can lights up here. They're supposed to be dimmable, but I think they only work with a specific type of switch. So if I hit the dimmer, they don't really dim. They just kind of flicker a little bit. So I gotta find a different dimmer switch, I think. But yeah, man, we're good to go. This outdoor light here. Flip the switch, it works. Okay, so the electric is as done as it needs to get for now. I do have some golf cart batteries that I salvaged when I sold my old golf cart. They were almost brand new, 1 or 2 years old. I would like to get them in here hooked up, but that can kind of go on the back burner. Something I can do when it's snowing out. Been thinking long and hard about it. I think the next job is to chink. So I've got some of the materials. I'm gonna get out here and do a few test rows to see how it goes, and determine if it's a one-man couple weekend job, or if it's a you know, let's throw a party and invite some people over and knock it all out job. So yeah, I guess that'll be the next thing I do. Looking forward to doing that so that I can get some of the, once I get the chinking done, then I can start working on some of the interior stuff. I still have the gable ends to finish, the board and batten. I think I have enough boards to do that. Just a matter of doing that. So maybe that's the next thing I do, and then I'll get going on the chinking. I wanted to wait to do the chinking as long as possible to let the cabin settle as much as possible, but you know, we're already into June here. Got a few more months of building to go, so I'd like to get it pretty well weatherproofed before it gets too crazy cold out. So that's the plan, anyways. And yeah, I'm a happy man. Full on electric, working almost exactly as I had envisioned it, which is awesome. So yeah. All right, see you next time.